I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Schulte. Yep. Jones. Here. Bowen. Here. It's almost a page long, but not too many days to go. I heard someone say it.
Half stuff, nothing. Should be pretty easy to.
Motion from the board to approve the agenda. Or nobody, further discussion on today's agenda. All those in favor signify with aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Move up the minutes. Pointed out for Rochelle a little bit, just a typo. Drive. This is the equipment at the jailhouse station. It just misses the V on the item that talks about that. Really needs to be noted. It's critical to accuracy's sake. The discussion concerning minutes from the last meeting, May 28th. I'll ask all those in favor, signify with aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. First item listed, just as prior to 8:50 would be Hawkeye Point Water. Provide an estimate of quote to bore and put a new meter pit on the campground property or what?
Okay.
Understand that properly or?
So, the quote here, would be the new service to south side, which would be the one we would have to do, or one I would recommend doing if you so choose, because there's absolutely no reason that the meter pit needs to be on the north side of the road in the campground for additional $2,000, I didn't think. So this would be them digging it up and replumbing what they have to do and putting an additional meter pit in for $1,880. I did provide you on the reverse side of that sheet with the water use history of what they used, like July 2018, between the house and the campground is 4,000 gallons for a cost of $54.13. And it looks like December through February, they're using just 1,000, so 38.33. And then April, we would have turned the water onto the campground again, and it was 48.86.
Could we just ask them to pay, $40 or $45 a month and leave it the way it is?
Just pay it on
Yeah.
So, and the other side of that token is that the county is also paying for the garbage out there, which is $48.50 a month. So, and while the campers will use the garbage in April through October, no camps there in the middle of the winter, but we still have it. And we pay it, so.
I'm kind of thinking let's figure out a number that works for them and for us. We're just charging that for a month.
And we pay the water bill.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's just my thoughts.
Like, pay it on the whole, I don't think they're probably getting much over that anyway.
You know, if they do that. Or $50. That include the garbage. Yeah. Because we're already, they're getting. Just, I don't know, figure out a number that works.
That's a good deal, too, once you get the garbage.
Yeah.
And water for $50.
Yes. I don't know, what do you think?
I think that's fair, personally.
Make a motion, we ask them to pay $50 more. And we continue taking care of it, forget about it, figure it all out. That's my motion.
And then they wouldn't pay the water bill at all, then the county would pay it, and they just,
And they would pay garbage,
No.
And then we're having garbage.
As you've asked why we're still owning the house, if we have a separate service, it wouldn't be an issue should we ever revisit getting rid of the house. This doesn't address that. I mean, still likely we face this issue at some point. You just do it right from the beginning, you know, thinking that that might be coming down the road at some point, or do we do it with this approach for now and address this next time?
That's my motion, so.
I understand, I'm just asking.
I would see at some point maybe that house becoming part of the campground area there, rather than continuing to have it as a rental. Let conservation rent it out to somebody for camping purposes in the summer or at that point. Treat it more like a cabin than a house that we gotta take care of.
Or if we put a welcome center or something else in.
Yeah. Right.
Further discussion? Do a motion to add $50 or amend the rental agreement to $50 that would include the garbage, which has an end water. All those in favor, signify with aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign.
who seconded it?
That Mike did.
Somebody gonna talk to them about that one? Somebody gonna talk to them about that? I knew
You were next.
Right, that we agreed, I guess. Starting July 1st.
Yeah.
Okay, department heads. We'll start with our auditor today. We're going to
I'm trying to get run back in June, we'll be starting that. There's a lot of new election laws coming down, starting July 1st. One of them don't take effect until November of 2020, but we're gonna start implementing it now. We have to have barcodes on all of our election envelopes, return envelopes for absentee voting. It doesn't come in effect until November of 2020, but we kind of want to get it started now, so we have any hiccups, we can get it figured out before the general election. Working on that.
Working with Schneider on building, county zoning layer and city zoning layer, TIF layer, DLL, wind towers. We got those all built, don't push them off the deep end yet. And then, work in progress, of course, is the drainage on copy and paste parcels and, put those in the GIS. So I've had to type up 4,000 parcel numbers so they can copy and paste it, not a big deal. So that's a work in progress, not sure how that's all gonna turn out. We'll get those parcels in drainage districts, but I'm not sure what we're doing about tile. So, we looked at Dickinson's site, and they have a nice site, but it's highly inaccurate, yeah. So, but it looks nice. As picture, it looks nice, so, but we'll keep working on that and making that better. And then, tomorrow we got the final session board review, so we'll be able to make our inspection, act on our remaining petitions and adjourn tomorrow.
coming closer to an end. They're working on the little ledge. They're finally putting the tin on it. Chip and chip sometime this week. And then they'll start doing the power washing. And then the sealer on it. depends on the rain. Might be done within a week or two.
Engineer.
Things are ramping up, construction season. Lots of things all starting at once. Just a little update on maintenance though. We've been working really hard on the gravel roads, hauling lots of gravel, a lot of times behind the maintainer. So, and we tried to, over the last couple of months, we've kind of, collaborated, and we have a lot of outlying areas that are far away from gravel pits too that we have to get to in service. So we tried different measures to try to service these areas where we've taken, like for a few days, all of our key truck drivers and tandems and pups and hauled like to one spot and just banged out an area in like 3 days. Because there's a lot of roads that need a lot of travel, so we've been working hard on that front. And then lots of maintenance work in preparation for projects and other stuff. We got shoulder work, clean ditches, driveways installing, roadway culverts. We've been trying to get done and patched, road patches for them. Tiling work and repairs. Been hauling rock chips into the seal coating that's now just started this week, the chip seal project. Will last about 2 weeks. We have, we did a bunch of repair work earlier, then they left, and they'll be back here later this summer. We're doing crack sealing right now, finishing that up in advance of our chip seal project roads that we're doing this year. And, still looking to hire maybe one more part-time person, haven't hired that. We did hire an intern for helping out on our projects, but we're looking at a part-time helper for maintenance too. And then Tyler Avenue, the grading project actually might start today. They've been mobilizing, but now we've got a little bit of rain, but yeah, we're planning on starting that today or tomorrow, this week here. Also, the paving portion is scheduled now for early to mid-July. I'll be in more contact with that contractor as we approach that time frame. Again, the chip seal project started yesterday, about 2 weeks, so this week and next week should be done with that. The large resurfacing project we're doing is going to be over 30 miles. That's going to be up to like maybe a 12-week duration. It's going to start next week, actually, on Monday. It'll start milling operations, and later that week or following Monday, paving will commence. So we've been putting out notices in the paper. The paper's been helpful with that too. Kind of just informing the public on the different things. I think even the economic development there, they posted something on their site too, and now we're with Michelle to get on our website as well. FEMA is still an ongoing thing, but we work through that. They're actually showing up tomorrow to meet with me on this next event. So we got more of that to do. And Nolan and I, we worked through the ATV ordinance. I went and did a bunch of research, and I gave that to Nolan. He's formalized some opinions on that to give to you. Also, those drainage issues, I've been following through with those, and I'm working with Jerry to meet with a couple landowners on that one topic. Sorry for a long.
So the ATV on county roads is one of the subjects at the fall, or our annual conference for ISAC in August too, so I don't know if it's something to want. Wait for that and see what they have to say or what others have to contribute to that, or move forward and amend it or alter it as needed and all that.
Yeah.
I don't know, but, yeah.
I mean, either way, we'll give you probably all the facts, all the information for you guys to make decisions on how you want to proceed. If you want to wait and get, more, wait and have some more insight from that meeting, that could maybe be a decision. Yeah, but we got a bunch of different example ordinances and also the different arguments kind of about it too, from the background, so it was make it fun.
Morning. Website is very popular. I'm happy to report we're at 27% from April to May, getting businesses contacting directly. I can see on Monday mornings when everyone wants to job hunt, because we're getting a lot of traffic on a lot of different avenues there, and still getting out to businesses and finding out that Lane Truck the other day, they're looking to find someone else full time. So, it's still getting out there, but really getting mixed traffic. Went to Western Iowa Tourism Region's annual meeting last week. I talked to Jason a little bit about this. Keona from Bryan County's on their board, and Sean to give me a ride. So really just trying to figure out kind of where they're at in tourism for the state. But the message I took to take is I just need to really push the state So, you know, they do e-newsletters to media, they do regular updates, and really just making sure we're on their radar. I've kept up the listings and added summer festivals, things like that, but it's really just PR opportunities, especially with Hawkeye Point. Been doing a lot with that, obviously, as sort of the season kicks off. Did some PR, like webcam, and spammed all the TV stations in Des Moines and Sioux City, to say, hey, there's a webcam, use it, shows High Park, Iowa. Casey said, I'm going to put it on right away on the website, actually, at the top of Skycam, says Hawkeye Point, down at High Point.
Who was that?
Casey's, yeah, TV one. KCID is looking at it, but KMEG actually is going to use it online and on weather, so just trying to push that out to maximize that investment, because it was a lot of money, we are committed to that for 5 years. So that's been really good, and obviously working with Nick on the Lyon County money we got, because that's a quick turnaround for those signs, so there's just a little bit of proving we did it right. So lots of topics on stuff right now. Working with CDN, you know, what we get access to through Northwest Iowa developers on prospects. Got one right now with Cap Arms, you know, that we're providing lots of information to, just to make sure that, you know, we're looking at any opportunity that this specific place, that's one of the founders from the lake, or the area, 10 to 20 jobs. I mean, we just want to be in a place for any opportunity like that. Leadership study, I did get an email from the state yesterday. They are, not surprisingly, having trouble getting a quota, and it's not just in Sibley, it's all over this region. So they're going to be sending letters to everybody who is in the area, who works, to ask them to fill out the survey online, what a concept, instead of spending 15, 20 minutes on the phone. I don't know if this is the first region they've done that to, but we had hoped to get that leadership study this summer. I just don't think it's going to be till the end of the year. If you do hear anyone talk about it again, it is, I think they're still trying to overcome people's suspicion that it's someone else asking their personal information, not the state. CFD has set their open house July 20th. I know they're looking to send the cards out end of the month. Have invited the governor already to see if we can get her here. That is a Saturday. It's 11 to 2, doing a bit of a come and go event that we'll work with CFD about getting some other legislators to that event, and just fielding lots of phone calls about money opportunities, ideas and projects. So things have been very busy, and our auditors here this week, so looking at 17, 18, so nothing that so that's all paid. But yeah, so things are sitting along.
The governor, you said, was coming up to the...
We have invited her to CFD. You know, you have to go through a formal request.
Sure.
And so I'm going to follow up, you know, with Debbie Durham and just in some way, because you really don't have a lot of places to say, give context to what the event is and the impact.
County Fair's going on that weekend, too,
I know.
maybe we can get her to come there, too.
Yeah, so there's a lot of opportunities for that, so I'll stay on that.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to sit down with Steph and talk about the Western Iowa Tourism Region more. The county is a member. She had talked about maybe economic development being a member. Maybe it's something we could consider that she'd be the county's representative. I don't know what might work best, but it's worth.
Yeah, I know the next one is Sanborn. You know, that's the problem with the region. Being at the top here, you know, we travel, but it's really just making sure any opportunity is kind of considered action.
Well, we are just kind of working on our tax sale phase next Monday, so that's for any delinquent taxes that have not been paid and will be on the sale if they are not paid by 8:30 on Monday morning. We can give them that chance until 8:30. We had 180 parcels tonight, and she's over to the paper. I think we're down to maybe 160 now, so we're slowly getting there, but we got a few days left, so hopefully we get about 80 more, which would be usually about right. So with that done, and then just working on driver's license and motor vehicles. Also, next Wednesday, then June 19th, our office will be closed. We are going to a vision and medical training for a driver's license.
May was a good month. June started out slow. Last week, the VA Nation Act was enabled. It was a law passed by Congress that's supposed to enhance VA health care to a local community. yet because it takes the VA forever to implement something, you know. And replace the VA Choice Act, which was a $10 billion mistake that they made that didn't work. This is so that in theory a vet can't get into optometry. I went through this yesterday in Sioux Falls. So the vet we called, they can't get until September. They're supposed to call the care in the community VA office, the care in the community a day or two, supposed to call the veteran, schedule an appointment here in Simply for them. That's how it's supposed to work, but that can take 2 to 3 weeks for that to happen in the past, so we'll wait and see what happens before I publish anything or make it a big deal, because I don't want to face it.
Conservation?
Last month we did have 3 or 4 field, I think it was 4 field trips, between Willow Creek, and we had one down in Ashton that we had quite a few students attend. We had purchased some kayaks, so we had those out on the water, and everybody really seems to like those. And then we did fishing, we did a little pond dipping too. We did, at Willow Creek, we set up our archery equipment so they could use that and kind of get a feel and see if they like it. We did have some people that are actually pretty good at it, which was kind of surprising. Other than that, we got the veteran sign up at the North Y. I don't know if anybody paid attention to that. We got that up before Memorial Day, and mowing like crazy because the grass keeps growing, and then we're currently trying to get our food plots in, which is kind of challenging because we seem to put our food plots in the wettest area of the property. So that combined with more water, and it's a little difficult. So keep them busy.
Orders up?
I've been keeping busy with documents and had several marriage applications in, and since this summer, genealogy is starting to kick in.
Schedule right, Sharon provided the video this morning, so enjoy. See the one I want. All right, thanks guys. Item on the agenda is discuss security camera and ambulance shed.
Well,
Are you familiar with it? Is security camera at the ambulance shed and
The reason for it is that we've been having issues. The police department's been having issues. They had a car removed from the premises. Nobody knew what happened to it. What happened was Sanborn Towing Company removed a car that wasn't supposed to be removed. The only reason we found out it was Sanborn was because I happened to be there at the ambulance doing some work. I had no knowledge that they weren't supposed to remove it, but I knew when they were asking me what happened to that car. Well, also, when they bring cars in, owners of the vehicles usually go over there and they have spare keys and they'll remove stuff out of the car without anybody knowing about it. So what they like to do is put cameras out there outside the pole so they can monitor the yard and have them monitor in the dispatch area so they can keep an eye on what's going on in the area itself. And also inside the building, Sandy's having issues with supplies missing. not knowing who's taking stuff out, or who's going in, since everybody has access to the code going inside the building. So we want to be able to see who's going in, who's coming out, who's going into the supply room, so we can figure out what's going on with the supplies.
Do they store meds in there too?
The meds are locked up. Yeah, there's only 2 people with keys for it. The other supply, you know, for the ambulance, you know, like your Band-Aids or towels or pillows, blankets, you know, other supply that you put in there for the medical, stuff like that, you just kind of walk out for some reason. Or they get used, but nobody writes it down.
Well, that's the issue.
Yeah.
That's the main issue.
Yeah.
There's no inventory.
Yeah. It's supposed to be written down. There's a write-up sheet. Sometimes people get in a hurry, or they just get lazy and just don't write it down. So if we had a camera, we have an idea of at least she can go back to see who's been in the supply room and who took what.
Cost share between the jail expense?
All taken on a general basis, so,
Just the lines of the.
yeah.
We did also add Moeller. He also does the cameras for the sheriff's department, but he ought not to do it. So that's why he doesn't have a bid in there.
Did you check with Everton?
We never used that. These are 3 people that we use here at the courthouse.
They also provide the same security camera services, so I was just wondering if you checked with them at all.
Where's Evertech out of?
Everyone. It's hard to hear that.
Should we request on security out of?
Spencer. And super high tech is out of Sheldon.
Well, I don't know if we really had an issue, and I think the removal of a vehicle was just a communications issue. I don't know. I'm not sure if it's necessary, or not. It seems like a lot of money. It's just my thoughts.
This just goes to a certain, storage location in a hard drive that is stored, records it, or is there a monitor that?
There's a monitor, it's a hard drive too.
Monitor will be on site, or?
There's gonna be 2 monitors, one's gonna be here at the dispatch, and the other one's gonna be over in Sandy's office, which is locked up.
Who kind of requested this?
It was both Sandy and dispatch.
When the car sits outside there, who's responsible? Are we responsible for that car once in?
We are. Once it sits out there, it belongs to the county.
will there be a monitor inside the building and outside the building too?
There's a monitor that Sandy can pull up to,
No, I guess, excuse me, I mean like a camera
there's gonna be 2 cameras inside the building, and there'll be 2 cameras outside to survey the parking area.
I can see doing it, but I'd rather wait till next week, or next meeting to make a decision. I'd like to think about that a little bit.
Okay. The camera sitting outside will catch both entrants coming into the parking area.
So if we don't put one inside, does it have price then? I personally don't think we need one inside. Maybe outside, but inside, I really struggle with that.
It's just a matter of people writing stuff down.
Yes.
You know,
Yes, exactly.
Normally they'll come with X amount of cameras anyway.
Yeah, they come with 4 cameras.
At least the ones I've seen, they'll usually come with like 6 or 8 cameras.
Well, this is two up, if we do the two in, it'd be half price.
I doubt it.
Why are you gonna be right somewhere and monitor?
Just ask them.
Yeah.
I don't think we need it inside the building, that's my personal opinion.
Well, it's as hard of a time we have getting people to work the ambulance positions to then come down on them, so you're not doing inventory well enough, or why aren't you writing that down? I understand that we're getting
And they're gonna be distance checked if you say, if you video all, everything they're doing.
So how's that, having the video camera, they're gonna fix inventory with supplies? Just because you saw that person come in, now you're gonna,
record of it.
Yeah, but you don't know.
You don't know what they got.
You don't know which one did it?
Well, you don't know what they got?
no. So I don't know how that fixes that problem.
I felt like you, I'm not completely against it, but
Yeah.
think about it.
Try to think about it for myself.
Motion to table.
If you want, you can probably set up a meeting with Sandy, and she can probably explain it to you a lot better than I can.
Yeah, I'd make a motion to table it till next time.
No second,
What about maybe checking in with
advertise and see what they got.
the possibility? Okay.
All those in favor of tabling this item, signify with aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Zoning Commission Board Member vacancy.
Yeah, member passed away.
So do you have a whole stack of volunteers that want to do it?
No. They had none. Forget it.
Oh, yeah.
Something else, possibility.
Is it
Do
anything
that.
different? Where it's from, or?
It's just,
We lived in Sibley, but I don't know where it was. We moved to Sibley.
yeah.
Gender equity apply to that board, I'm guessing. I'm not sure what currently it is. It is. Representative on that one?
No. Is Cole,
Yeah.
not that, Cindy Cole, she's on that one. Nicole and your dad and, just need to think of somebody.
Gary will come on that one.
I believe so.
I got Mike Anderson from Melvin, does that make a difference? Cindy Phillips from Melvin. You want me to ask him first and then get back to you? And what does that, all entail, so?
Usually they try to have new meetings, I think, like at Pizza Ranch.
Yeah.
Just anything that comes in for zoning change. Carol would know more about that. Not very often. I think Board of Adjustments meet more than zoning. I don't think your dad meets very, I think he's very
They
sporadic.
have to give approval if they're doing their own project.
I'll ask this guy,
Okay.
he might be interested.
Do you have any gender balance requirements on that board?
I think
opposed to having it in the paper? Maybe, let's see, put it on the website.
How do you usually do them?
We usually put an ad, and we just kinda, board members just try to find somebody, be appointed, someone that's,
You know what the makeup of the current board is?
One lady that we can think of.
Just one. How many people are on the board?
five.
I suppose, yeah,
Gary
something like that.
Huffman, Dwayne, Cindy Gold, and,
Croton.
no, they're on, the board of justice.
I just
Nancy
wonder,
Watterson, Sue Croton, and Arlene are on the board of adjustment, Brian Jamie Huffman, Howard Johnson.
I just wonder with the gender thing, if we should advertise it, just in case there's
Yeah.
any comments.
Board or adjustment,
So,
Board of Adjustment.
Hey, who's all on the zoning right now? Dwayne? So do we, this needs to be, gender balance? Okay.
What is it? If it's 5 people, what is it? 3 and 2 or 3 and
3 and 2. Just want everybody to see. But if nobody has to be on, then you can do what you want.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, bye. Yeah, we just got one, Dwayne Van Ness on there, Danny Davis, Gary Huffman, Cindy Cole, Harold Burns, and John Smith. We should have another. There's supposed to be gender balance.
We'll just about have to put an ad, don't we?
I don't think so. Because then if we run an ad,
And then we shows up, then we can do,
Yeah.
like you say, we gotta do what we have to.
Not Ernst and John Smith. Well, we're 600 now, so we're going to be 700 more. Cindy Davis, Gary Huffman, Cindy Joel, Harold Burns, and John Smith.
And we got one email?
Yeah.
I would think we should run an ad. Ask her.
Probably would be wise.
How many weeks are we at? 2 weeks in the paper, or, is it 2 weeks, or 1 week?
Well, I'd say run the ad for a couple weeks at least.
Okay, we're gonna table it beyond the 25th then. We really won't be able to run 1 week before that.
And then how long do you want them to apply for it then? Till July?
Well, if we looked at all the applicants, July 9th. That'll work with me.
So they have to go out there by the 3rd or the 5th, or July 3rd, to our office then?
Put in there that, for the city, gender equity on that board, we use her opinions considered.
I'll write a top note, see what we should do.
Any further on that one? your approval. That approval is one lump approval. Thank you.
No, we don't get a tax. They cost a lot, we gave the grant.
Okay.
We didn't because it doesn't matter.
So are these initial applications or real applications, because some of these guys are checks in the boxes, no?
I think it's below both, I believe.
How much is the tax?
It depends. Percentage.
We'd probably be in violation of state law if we didn't approve them, wouldn't we?
We have to get the credit from the state reimbursement for it.
What is, just a building? It's a business. Means a storage building. I don't understand. That's what they're still going on about it.
Same case? Yeah, he didn't really do anything here. How's that work? You know?
Is there any reason that they can't completely fill these things out like they're supposed to?
That's not my question.
Just tells you all the stuff you have, but it's not.
Just explain these a little bit, what understand.
Well, Brent said, Brent said the mission, when he was in was to, get commercial property tax relief. So the state appropriated X number of dollars, and if you are a commercial property owner.
It doesn't have to be a business or anything, it just.
No, just commercial or industrial class. Yep, yep, and, it takes care of there's actually a limit, so the big box stores, don't get it necessarily on their evaluation. It kind of takes care of the smaller guys by the scale, so.
Is there any reason they can't completely fill out the application?
It's not completely filled out.
No.
What's missing?
Name, mailing address, phone number, email?
Oh, at the top, that box at the top?
Well, front top part.
Yeah, we just don't have to fill that out. We got the name. We got the name.
You don't have a phone number, you don't have a mailing
No.
address?
We have, well,
All
mailing.
the rest of these are all filled out. I mean, you
Well-
gotta do them somewhat uniformly. I mean, it doesn't say whether it's an initial application, it doesn't say whether it's a re-application.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of the form, is to fill it out. That's why they have the boxes and the space provided.
We pre-print those forms and send those out, and then this is what we get back. So,
So that you send it out.
Checkable.
we do,
Yeah.
we do. And so we send these out, and then some of these fill them out and some don't, but,
I'm sorry, I should have asked on Instagram, I'm sorry.
well, we only send it out initially. So the
Oh,
first
okay.
go around, so it doesn't transfer, change hands.
Oh, then it's automatic,
It just,
okay.
it's automatic, yeah. These either split, change hands, new transfers, and then
Okay.
you have to have a new application. And there's been a few of them they dug up that were contiguous that we had to split up.
Because there's a couple of them on there. They're basically storage buildings, but they're still
They're-
commercial.
They're commercial and industrial, yeah.
You don't have to just use them for themselves, and don't.
They're on
As long as
commercial.
it's class commercial. Commercial is rolled back to 90%, and a residential is rolled back to 55%, so it's trying to narrow that gap.
Well, there's several of these that make sense to me, and there's several that don't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
But that's what I
That's. I just didn't understand. Thank you for that.
Yeah, we classify based on use, and it doesn't have anything to do with zoning, so if you wanna live in a building on Main Street, we'll classify it as residential, even though it's among the commercial zone areas.
These are all presented as a recommendation from the assessor to allow the application. Are there ones that we want to not act on that recommendation?
Well, we
Can't.
That's what we're deciding here. We need to
Well, you
accept
must be
the
able to
application before we go.
I'd like to see the rest of the information filled out on the sheets of the mailing address and phone numbers. Half of them did, half of them didn't.
don't even have an address on it.
Well, we have
The parcel.
their addresses on the computer, we wouldn't be able to send them an application without their address. So,
Where's it at? I haven't seen it.
What's the property address? Just use this number down here.
this is a Melvin property,
Yeah, that's what I'm looking.
yeah.
But where does it say that?
Well, we just know that because,
But if somebody else comes in to look at this stuff, it can't just be dependent on that you know where it is.
Well, it says a parcel number, that's gonna identify where it is and what it is.
And it also says property address.
You could go on Beacon and
well,
put
this
in by
this could be a little piece on Railroad Street, Jerry, that never transferred ever, and we're picking that up now, so it doesn't have a property address. It adjoins his property, but it's on, and I think actually he's now sold that. Somebody else is in there. He's been here for 1 year. So some of these properties don't have that physical address. If there's no building, there's no physical address.
without hoping that the mailing address and everything.
We have a mailing address on the system.
But it needs to be on the form, that's why they asked for it on,
The mailing address is on there.
no, not that particular one. A whole bunch of them don't have any contact information that they're supposed to have on the top of the landlord. Half of them do have, but we don't.
We're being asked to give approval to
And like that one.
property tax credit applications. We have all of these as a recommendation from the assessor
I would make a
to be
motion.
allowed.
I'd make a
If
motion.
there's a step in the process that we want her to address differently, that can be addressed with her, but that's not really what's being asked of us here today.
If you submit an application, I would suggest that it fully be filled out.
Okay, so then are you making a motion to deny the ones
Yes,
that don't have?
I am, I'm making a motion to deny the ones that are properly filled out.
You want to give them a highlighter and, just to make sure we know which ones are denied. Because we will want to contact those individuals by July 1 to make sure they get there.
Do we have support for Mr. Jones' motion to deny the applications not properly filled out?
How many would that be?
I didn't make the motion, I'm not sure.
We have no use for their email address and their phone number. That is personal information. If they don't want to provide it, I don't see why they need to provide that.
Does it say voluntary somewhere on that sheet?
Does it say mandatory somewhere?
Neither.
Okay, so I think it's optional.
I don't
If they
think,
don't want to provide their email address or their phone number, that's
is that
their
state
choice.
issued form?
Yes, it is.
Well, then I would suggest that we fill it out correctly. They wouldn't put it on there if they didn't want you to fill it out.
We're not going to require emails and phone numbers. We have no use for it.
Well, they still need a name and a mailing address.
We have a name, we have a mailing
Not
address.
on the form, so that.
Well, that form
Your
doesn't
opinion,
call
the
for
top
it.
is enough to give the assessor's office what they need to make a determination of whether they're going to recommend the application to us or not. All of these have been recommended to us through their process.
It's not my fault that she can't follow the process. It's
That is
still
your
not
opinion.
form.
That is your opinion. She's reviewing the information provided to make this determination that's being recommended to us.
All right, why don't you
You've got a
contact
motion
the
on the
state,
floor.
contact the state, see if it's a requirement to fill out any of that
You know
information on the
what?
top.
We are taxpayer friendly in this county. We have homesteads where we have to ask people if their property has been acquired as part of a dissolution of marriage. I am sorry.
That has nothing to do with that, that's just a
It's the
commercial
same
application.
thing. It's an
No, it's not.
application and it's none of my business. We are
Your
taxpayer
name
friendly.
and, the name and mailing address has nothing to do.
We have the name and we have the mailing address on the computer.
Maybe you'd be kind enough to write it on the form then. Before you send them on.
We put it in an envelope and we send it off and we try to provide a self-addressed stamped envelope. We know these people, we know their property qualifies, and we are not going to deny a credit, homestead, or any applications that we are in charge of for technicality. We're not going to do it. We are taxpayer friendly in this county
Really?
and in my office. Yes, we are.
I don't know that you are over there from most of the complaints I get from your office, but be that as it may, I'm just saying, it's not that really hard to put your name and address on a form.
No, it's not, Ed, and we send those out and this is the way they come back. And we're not gonna deny it because they didn't complete it. We have to send out 2 and 3 notices because it's important for us to get these people
Do you
signed
have
up. This
any
is a
sort of
big credit.
instruction?
But other sectors do not have to fill out an application to get a much larger credit or reduction to their assessment value than this. So to make it onerous, I don't agree with.
I don't think adding your name and address on a sheet that asks for your name and address is really adding a whole lot of.
I don't think it's that difficult, but if it's been accepted and it's been recommended in past years, and it is this year, and now we're going to say that's not
Just
acceptable,
because
they
that's
need to
the
do
way you've
more.
always done it, doesn't mean it's the right way to do it.
I'm not saying that's the case. But
We-
just to change it because you don't like a step in the process doesn't mean it has to be changed either. The properties are identified, they've been reviewed by staff, they're being recommended, you can assume what you want, but there's a recommendation that comes from them. On what basis are you saying they haven't recommended them reasonably? because there's not an address listed?
How'd you know where to mail it?
Pardon me?
How'd you know where to mail it?
Well, as soon as the transfer is made, we have to have their name and address and assign them an owner number and a legal description and a document, a deed or affidavit to make the transfer. That's how we send out the application.
Whatever.
It's based on,
If you don't wanna do your job as required
You
by
asked
the
the question,
state,
don't say whatever.
no, if you don't wanna do your job as required by the state to make sure that all our paperwork is properly filled out, I guess that's your prerogative, but it's really not as an appointed position. I'm just saying, this needs to be filled out.
if their signature's on there and we verified, that's number one for us. We're not in the, I mean, sometimes we have to send out 2 and 3 notices just to get their signature. Okay, and
Why even have them sign it? I mean, you don't need the signature either, do you?
Probably not on the split, but on a new CPTC, yes, we do.
So, the signature's optional, everything on there is optional.
Well,
Okay, whatever.
We have a motion
I
to
withdraw.
deny the application's not properly filled out. Do we have support for that?
I just wanna make a comment, I think, I'm gonna not second that motion, but I would recommend that it be emphasized that they're filled out in full from now on.
Yeah, I withdraw my motion.
That's what I would recommend.
Can you explain to me why you withdrew it? Because I don't know what's
There's
changed.
no support for it, I'm withdrawing my motion.
Okay. We have a motion on the property tax credit application.
Make that motion.
Further discussion concerning the applications?
Just what I said, I think it's recommended that we need to have them filled out in full.
Do we want to consider a policy addressing that after this?
Yeah, I think we should. Because I didn't know what I was,
Are we
I'll be honest with you, I didn't know what I was looking at.
Okay.
And that's why I asked her to come in here. I have no idea what I was looking at. I didn't know where it was, who it was.
As to the motion to approve the property tax credit applications, include discussion. With all those in favor, signify with aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. We want to address the policy concerning that application further. Are we sure that there aren't other applications, there are other offices that don't also necessarily? Are we just gonna?
Well, we need to make a broad section. Everybody do their job?
Yeah, TV.
I don't think it's fair to say they're not doing their job because that form isn't filled out. I wouldn't agree with that.
I'd say you're skipping a lot of steps that are required information on there for the board of supervisors to look at it and review it. I'm not gonna go over there now and look up every single parcel number on every single sheet that didn't have an address, just so I know where the location is. That's why there's a spot on it that says property address. And you're just slapping in the parcel number, that doesn't do anybody any good. So I'm supposed to go over and look all those up if I wanna know where they're located.
If you want to know where they're located, yeah.
Well, it says right on the
Because
form.
it's not our position to
You're supposed to,
review them and decide whether they should be approved. We're acting on the recommendation of that office that
what
qualifies.
does it say on there?
What do we do it for then?
It says right on there.
We don't know what's
whether the
going
board
on.
approved them or not. Why would we even need to have the ability to approve or disapprove them? And they just don't even come to us then if that was the case.
I would think that would be sufficient too, because the state told us what they could get back and how they had to do it, and evidently they said we had to give final approval.
Okay, and
And
I'm
by the
saying,
recommendation of the assessor's office saying that this property qualifies, whether I know the address or the parcel number, I'm willing to act on that.
We're not sure we're in the right place. We're from Jackson Recovery Center?
no, you're in the right place.
Okay.
Did we have or want a motion concerning policy on that issue now or for future consideration?
I'd make a motion that anything that comes to us be completely filled out with all the information that we need. I'll support
bottom where it says office use only, there's a recommendation to us from that office that we act on that, so I believe it is filled out sufficiently. Do we have any further comments or discussion concerning that motion to set the policy that that item be completely filled out?
Well, this is set up as a two-edged sword. Because, what if there's another office where something isn't filled out quite right? But it can still go through.
I can't get my driver's license without filling out my paperwork, I can't get my passport without filling out
I'll
my
be honest
paperwork.
with you, I don't know how to vote on this one, I really don't.
That I can't get my homestead exemption from Sharon without filling out the paperwork.
Well, here's why I feel the way I do. I didn't know what I was looking at. You don't know where it is, you don't, I'm like, yeah, if we're gonna approve something, I at least wanna know what the heck's going on here, and where it is and what it is. And if somebody ain't doing something right, I don't care what office it is, it needs to be done correctly. That's my,
But I don't think those forms completely filled out gives me the full picture of what's being done. The fact that it was on the agenda and going to be an item that we needed to deal with today, we should have talked with the assessor prior to the meeting and understood the process.
You know, if you're using a piece of commercial property as your living quarters, I don't know that I would approve that one.
And she said she wasn't. She said, if you're living on Main Street, they're gonna assess it as residential.
Even though zoning wouldn't allow you to do it in the first place, but I don't know. There may be some of those buildings that are being used in different capacities than what they're zoned for. I know some in other counties where I'm at that are being used as residences that are still zoned as commercial. So,
With this, if the word doesn't get out, we will have property or commercial properties that will be denied because the applications aren't completely filled out.
it's not that hard for them to fill it out and send it back in, just like it
That
is
will
with
be the
anything else.
effects to our taxpayers and our citizens.
But like she just said, I want to spot and know if it does not have an address.
that ain't right. Now, that's why I'm questioning, because I don't think she's right on that.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I know where that property is. That's where I'm having an issue.
That does have an address.
Yes.
Any further discussion or questions, comments concerning the motion completely, have the forms completely filled out as policy?
And I don't think us asking for a complete filled out form is gonna deny any taxpayer their rights.
We, by my understanding of that motion, we could not approve one that's not completely filled out. So they would not receive the credit that,
If they fill it out right,
You get your credit, it's that same thing with everything in life, if you don't fill it out, you can't get your free benefits from anything else.
if I go to the ASCS office and fill out my crop report and don't have a tenth of an acre right, I'm thrown out.
That's paid for the taxpayer money.
So we got a motion, so.
any further discussion? All those in favor of that signify with aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Aye. And approve resolution number 44, assessment of drainage districts. We share the information on 9 and 43.
Since the last time we talked on 9, we had a $50,000 assessment on that. We had talked to Ivan, and he suggested not to do that because it's going to be a reclassification, so their assessments are going to be changing. So he suggested that we just do stamped warrants until the project is completed and reclassification is done. Because every assessment could go up or go down, or that's why he suggested that we wait on that particular drainage ditch.
Wouldn't 43 be similar? Or will this whole study
Well, we haven't
portion be?
started 40, we don't know what 40.
No, I know it hasn't gotten to the
Yeah,
point
it'd
of,
be the same point, it wouldn't get
but will the
done.
10,000 be more than the study and the process so far is
No.
going to cost?
How much money was spent in 43?
And it may not go through,
May
but
not go
it,
through.
that potential is there, so I don't know if we wanna set it and have a balance sitting there if it does.
43, we have $3,635 in the, in the good, in the black.
We haven't,
You haven't started.
we formal
No,
hearing
they're
process
not.
on that.
No.
All the numbers at 10,000 might be a little high then.
Because we're gonna do 50,000 and nine, so 21,000 in the red in that one. That's why we did the 50, but that's why it's in that easy with nine at this point.
That's strange if you're in the red.
So 44 covers flooring, 22, 43, and 58. Right? We just need a motion to approve.
Resolution 44.
Yes.
Yeah.
Covers all.
I'd like a motion to approve resolution 44.
I'll support it.
I'm personally a little concerned that the 10,043 might be a little high if reclassification takes place in the future, but. Any further discussion on resolution 44? Mr. Jones, how do you vote? Aye. Mr. Helmers?
Aye.
Mr. Schulte? Aye. Mr. Moore? I will vote nay. Official county deal.
Okay, and that has come about, there's a new law change that, on our ballots, we always have the auditor's name on the ballot. That's taken off, and we have to have county seal on it. So according to section 331 of the Iowa Code, you have to have a county seal. And then you go to 331.552, it has to have the treasurer's name on it. A lot of people are upset because the treasurer's office has nothing to do with our ballots, none of the elections, none of it, but the law states it has to have the treasurer's office on there. I referred to Nolan, he talked to the Attorney General's office, and they suggested that we officially appoint or use this seal as our official seal for the county.
That's the coolest thing we can come up with.
Well, that's what the treasurer's office has now. Some counties are doing all new seals, and we can do that. We can come up with a whole new seal. But some counties are coming up with a new seal, some counties are not having any treasurer's name on it because they don't have anything to do with the election. Some counties are, since their county treasurer has a seal, they're using that for right now. I mean, we can do whatever the board decides.
Does this need to be approved by July 1, or is there an effective date that it's required?
I think it starts July 1, but we don't.
May as well use it.
This is good enough to.
Yeah.
It's gotta do the same treasurer, all right, you're good to go.
We're good to go.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 45.
Support.
I would agree that'd be nice to have something better looking, say we can't consider something in the future, but this, we'll get something in place.
I'm hoping that maybe they'll do a cleanup bill next legislation session, so I hate to go to all the cost of
Yeah.
doing that until they do something. I'm hoping for, because I don't know that for sure.
Further discussion, comments? Concerning approval of resolution number 45, Mr. Jones, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Schulte?
Aye.
Mr. DeBoer? Mr. Helmers?
Aye.
And aye.
That's just amazing, that's all they have to do, is figure that out.
Like I said, I'm hoping it'll be one of the cleanup bill next session, but I don't know that.
Request from William Ballard, post number 7273 for a Class C liquor license. Renewal. All right, who wants that?
That one, Leroy.
Leroy's got the support from Mr. Helmer's motion to approve the Class C liquor license. Further discussion, comments? All those in favor, signify with aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. And request for Bible reading marathon. Michelle, can you provide a little background?
Yeah, our Presbyterian Church always requests this every year. Usually they start like on a Thursday and they go until Sunday. So this year, and they do 24 hours. This year they would like it from June 27th to July 3rd. And they would like to go from 6 a.m. until 9 p.m. I didn't know about the mowing and, all that stuff with Ernie. And he said he could work around it. I guess technically that is the expand of it, I guess, from June 27th to June 3rd.
Make a motion to approve it.
That's fine.
Good. I want to support them, but I would like that we ask, or just make them aware that we'd like them to work with maintenance staff, and if mowing needs to be to relocate a tent or something, or at least just to make sure they're where to be. Consider it.
And they are-
What's that?
I did talk to them about that.
Just a verbal communication and not part of the motion, I'm fine with that. Any further discussion? And do we really have to give approval of it, or is it just to be
We
aware?
have, we've had in the past, so that's the on the agenda.
Okay. All those in favor, signify with aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Okay. Somebody want a quick 2.5 minute recap of the 2080 for mental health, or want to wait till after 10 o'clock?
No one already reviewed all this stuff, right? I mean, they made the
And the
changes
regional.
that everybody requested.
So you know it didn't fall on deaf ears. We revised our letter that we sent with the application. And we'll just highlight these areas and do our best.
All right, appreciate it, thank you very much.
That email was sent out with all the different changes or whatever, and all those changes were made. So I don't know that I have a whole lot of anything else to add to it, as long as everybody else is happy with it.
Each county is required to identify a mental health advocate. O'Brien formally employs one, and these counties are agreeing to share an employee. It wasn't really an issue when they were part of, well, Lyon County kind of created the issue when they were leaving the region for using that advocate, and now all of Sioux Rivers wants to use that advocate as well. So it was really driven by them needing to have something in place. We were going to be covered by the previous one because we're still in the region that was participating in, but things up.
I'd make a motion to approve that 2080.
Motion from Jones, approve the 2080 for mental health advocate cost sharing.
I will support that.
Support from Helmers. And some discussion, further comments, questions, I'd be glad to talk about it more. Say I'll enjoy it, but I will answer questions. Then Mr. Jones, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Helmers? Aye. Mr. Bohr? I vote aye. Fund reimbursements. And I can't wait to grab your 10 for that one.
Time for a break.
Keeps disappearing from my cup. How it works. This is our capital.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Mr. Jones made a motion, Mr. Helmers offered support. Those in favor? You want those there if you come up to the table? You'd like to step up, I do at 10 o'clock.
Sure.
Come on up, or you rather stand?
Well,
Around with us,
we'll
or-
just stand here.
Maybe some chairs.
And breathe. So we were just coming up to tell you a little bit about what's going on with Jackson since the closing of Compass Point. And basically we've spoken with the state and they've agreed to work with us to, give us the funding that Compass Point was, had. And so we're looking to open offices in Spencer and Sheldon. We signed a lease in Spencer, we're still looking in Sheldon, we might have to expand our look a little bit. But we'll be offering, intensive outpatient services, individual, assessments, mobile damages, DUI
we heard that you might have some questions about what's happening with that. We're hoping to open our Spencer office in the next few weeks, but again, still searching for that other site. Doing a little bit about what services, other than that,
Yeah, really just kind of what Annie mentioned, we'll have intensive outpatient, so that's our highest level of outpatient services, that's 9 hours a week. And then it extended, and that can be as little as 6 hours a week. We do assessments for substance abuse, for DUI, and then we'll be offering a class for sure in the Sheldon area, as we do have common DUI instructors that's trained for that, in that area.
so we're just here to, if you have any questions.
So if Osceola County residents need you, they have to come to Sheldon or Spencer? You guys won't have any presence in Osceola County?
We won't for now. We're gonna start, I know Compass Point had, I think, 10 sites, but we're gonna start out with 2, get up and running, because it's really a startup for us. So, and then kind of go from there, depending on our volume, in each of those sites.
So how does if somebody in this county needs you, what is their contact?
How do they get a hold of us?
Yeah.
So,
Through the schools, or is it through the?
Yeah, it can be through the school.
What referral, I guess?
Typically probation, DHS, typically our referrals, plus self, people can come in if they're struggling, if kids get in trouble. Typically what we do with our other counties that we work with, we offer free assessment vouchers for kids, like if they're getting caught in school with things that they shouldn't have, for mom or dad to bring them in to just kind of get a basic assessment, see if there's any ongoing issues, and then refer for service. So once we get the offices going, we'll have all the phone numbers and addresses and different things like that on our website, and we'll be able to get brochures out, start going around and talking with people about the phone number, the contact information.
Will you advertise in the papers too, or?
yes, and radio. Yep. Yes, the state's actually giving us a little bit of money to do some of that advertising. Our website now has an 800 number, so people can even start calling now, we can update as we go.
The only reason I'm saying that is so people know you're out there, so.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Yep.
So the grant you were awarded to Compass Point Path, is that the remainder of this fiscal year, additionally for next year, or just for next year?
It's basically, well, so the state's working for us because this is so outside of the norm, right? So they're working with us kind of outside of the typical grant application to do 3 months of startup, but then we'll have to do a whole work plan the same way any agency would across the state in order to be eligible for the block grant. Yeah.
So is that a July 1 fiscal year start? So is that being applied for next year for our area?
So the block grant actually was 18 months the first time. So it started January 1, yeah. So it goes through to July of 20.
Yep.
But unlike Compass Point, you're only gonna be servicing in 2 counties for locations, right?
For now, and we chose those 2 sites because we felt like it was still doable for some people. And then we tried to be within about 30 minutes of many of the smaller towns and areas.
Where would you be interested in Spencer, can I ask? What does it?
I can look it up, yeah.
I just have the address, like,
Late Friday afternoon, we just signed the lease, so.
What about Sheldon?
And that, we're searching for a site. So like I said, we might actually not end up in Sheldon because it's been pretty tricky to find space.
There's a lot of empty space downtown.
Maybe a couple thousand square feet at most.
Yeah, at least 1,000 now.
Probably 1,500 to 2,500 is what we're looking for. So. Any other questions?
Like in that location, how many would you employ?
We're gonna start out with 2 therapists in each office, a receptionist, person who, and we call them office managers, so they do all of our financial eligibility and things like that too. And then in Spencer, we'll have 2 prevention staff as well. That'll serve the entire northwest quadrant up here.
With Compass Point, we had seats on the board, how would Osceola County be represented or heard, or on your current structure, or are you looking at a restructuring of the board, or?
We're not looking at a restructuring of the board. Jackson Recovery Center is just affiliated with, Rosecrans, which is an organization out of Illinois. They have sites in Illinois, Wisconsin, and Davenport, so we're just affiliated with them. So we've done some of our own, restructuring, so to speak, so that we have two of our board members that are on their parent company board and that sort of thing. But as far as how would you be represented, I think the best way right now, until all the dust settles, is just contacting me. I'm the vice president, I guess we should have said what we do. I'm the vice president of operations, and Kim is our director of all of our outpatient services. So, we bring cards today to hand out to all of you, but, until we figure that out, I think that's a great idea, and I'll certainly, chat with our president about that, if there might be interest. Any other questions that we can answer for you all? Well, we appreciate you letting us just barge in for a few minutes of your time. I do have cards that I'll just leave, so feel free to dole those out as you see fit. I'll just give them to you. And then anything we can do, please let us know, and we'll be in touch when we have addresses to share. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Jerry, over at that office.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Reimbursement, or Mr. Schulte, we did have a motion and passed 4-0 on the approval of the 2080 with Secretary Connections. Did you care to cast your vote towards that, or?
Go for it.
Economic development is the next item on the agenda.
Well, right now, we split it, we take a fourth of the portion comes out of general basic and the rest comes out of rural basic. And he's suggesting that we take it all out of general basic, because Dave Noble, because the 28E agreement, it goes on by base population, but it doesn't, for the county portion, it just doesn't take the urban out of it for everybody in our county, is how he told me. They don't split out between rural and urban. That's how he kind of explained it to me. He said we should make that correction next year, so we have it in the claim that we're paying back rural basic from general. General basic is paying back rural basic, the $44,000 that we take out of there every year. And then next year, we'll make that, when we have budget amendment, we'll make that correction. He just suggested we take it all out of general basic.
Because we have been taking it out of general basic since the inception of that, all the way up until 95 or 2010.
2010 is when we took some out of rural
2010 is when they
basic.
started taking it out of rural.
And then he said, after looking at that, he suggested we should maybe take it all out of general. Just making that correction, he just thought we should have the minutes to make it formalized, that we do that.
Sounds good.
So is he wanting notation in the minutes and action on this item then?
Yeah,
Okay.
just to make it formalized.
Then make a motion to correct that, take it all out of general basic, not out of rural.
Support.
Further discussion? All those in favor of that motion, signify with aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Enterprise Park mowing is the next item.
Never had a chance to get a hold of George.
You did? No. I never saw him either.
So, you know, I had a person that would do it. You want me to tell him that he can have it, or where are we gonna go? You know, I mean, the grass is like, almost ready to go.
Can you bail it yet?
Getting close.
Well, that's what the intention was anyway, wasn't it, to be able to?
Yeah, or, yeah, mow it,
Yeah.
wrong bail.
Maintain the lots to the south, I guess would be nice.
It's just, you know, last year we waited too long and then
The outlots, so you can see.
but, you know, you should get two cuttings off of it for sure, so. And it's, you know, last year we ended up to where nobody mowed it, and then all of a sudden they had to get it done. And then, I suppose around that Camp Farm building, you have to talk to State Bank on that or whatever.
Yeah, that's their responsibility.
So, I mean, just.
You have someone that is interested.
Right. He already told me he was okay.
Do we have any sort of rules or anything out there for maintaining your lot out?
We took rocks, we still have.
No, like the mowing around that cat farm,
Oh, yeah.
that lot.
That State Bank is in.
Yeah,
And
we take care
he
of it.
tried to do it, he said he has insurance and stuff for him, you know, to take care of it. Or,
We can provide a certificate of insurance to our
well, I'm sure he could, if it's needed.
Well, I think it's.
That's the approach for everything, Lauren.
Yeah, okay.
I guess if we know there's interest, I'd be content to proceed with.
Right, I'll mention it to him.
By action item, identify Leroy to proceed with that, or just under the understanding that that's be addressed? I think to do year to year, I think we can't act without, we probably need a motion identifying that, don't we?
I don't think so.
What would we need to talk to George about?
See if he wanted to.
We're going to do the original contract release or anything anymore, but
So that's all done, right?
they're outside of those terms.
We don't have to offer that out to the public or anything.
If we're considering year to year, my understanding is if it's year to year, you can address that for the year,
But
but
if you want to go for
multiple
2 years
years,
at a time.
3 years for sure, it might even be 2.
How much area is it? I mean, is it 10 acres? That's gotta be.
Like 10 acres. Don't quote me on that, I'm not sure.
Well, I haven't been out there.
And depends on how wet it is and stuff, so you can't get at everything all the time.
I still go ahead with my opinion.
It's just better to have somebody mow it, look better, and keep the thistles down or whatever. Now, if you don't care, I will try and get insurance on it.
Long as there's insurance.
Just live,
Live.
right?
Well, could you proceed with that this week? We got a meeting scheduled for next week. We could formalize it next week if we know that he's,
But I mean, you want to go ahead and talk to them.
yeah, so I think it'd be good to have it in the minutes that that's who we're identifying for the year.
Get
Yeah,
the
Rather than
okay.
saying a name without
Right.
contacting them again, so just maybe then.
What is
All right, guys?
What is the drop off proof of insurance at? He's prepared to
Drops off here or at.
Usually when we get in, we just put in the insurance book, that we have it on file, that's one of them.
Okay, yeah, if we proceed with that, that'd be good. Anything further?
Next week's agenda item, 18, or
And if he brings proof of insurance, that I would like to have to go look at it.
sure.
I mean, because we're having all these issues.
Okay, yeah.
Then we can just check.
Everybody's idea on what's covered is different, so Bill, that I would appreciate.
Yeah, we can do that.
The only idea I have is that I don't understand what he's.
No, I don't, well, I was looking at it, I don't know.
Yeah.
I've at least been, yeah.
They're gonna have the attorney weigh in on just what formally is required. Okay. Me like works claims,
Well, speaking of insurance, while we're on that, we need to bring in a driver's license and a copy of our proof of insurance.
That's what I was gonna ask too.
Yeah, they've got proof of insurance on our vehicle, right?
How about if I just ask you to drive me to my meeting?
there you go. There you go.
Still passionate.
Yeah.
Good
See where you're
Know where they are, huh?
Yeah,
Kind of a shopping cart.
yeah, there's a shopping mall in back, you can ride.
I looked at these last night, I didn't see anything stuck out at me.
Those computers for the engineer's office, for those laptops where they,
I think he was gonna get some of that.
I think so, and then maybe, there might be just regular ones.
Like with signage and stuff, I think usually have them have a laptop so they can punch everything in right there.
how many did we get for $4,000?
3 or 4. Yeah, 2, and they're just workstations, all packages, they don't need their work.
So they're not laptops, they're just desktops?
Yeah.
This is kind of off the subject a little bit, just I see that Heartland Security. So if we put cameras in out there, is there a monthly bill on that besides then?
I don't, we have cameras in here, and we don't pay a monthly bill, that's, it was a one-time setup. I think that's security, that's a,
Conservation Board
Conservation.
has one and they got $20.95.
I don't know if it, I don't know why it would be, but we have to ask them that question, I don't know that for sure.
Question I had is with all the gravel we've got, why did we buy it? Why did we buy such a gravel from Alps?
From where?
Alps. $11,679 worth.
Where's the gravel? Wait, isn't there gravel over by Ashland?
I thought we did.
Should've got it from the tenant, that's crazy.
Or did,
Or was that for the culvert?
it's for the culvert. It says FEMA, so then you're gonna have additional requirements to. Prove where you're gonna bring the line.
So the culvert was $8, and the gravel was 11?
yeah,
FEMA probably requires.
So are these things that are all our FEMA that we're getting paid for, that we've already got the money for?
No,
Or are these
we
things
have
we're
to
getting paid later?
Yeah, we have to pay for it, and then we get it back. Yeah,
80% maybe, or.
yeah. We have to pay for everything up front, and then we get FEMA money.
should be, it's my name's in there.
Get through that.
Okay, look, make a motion on everything at 2374. Approve.
Support.
Discussion or questions, comments? Motion support to approve all claims except 2374. All those in favor of the motion, signify with aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion approved from 2374.
This one's 72 there. What's this one for, Michelle?
Those are my handwritten checks that we did, that we have.
What was the $2,000 for the lawnmower?
That's Secondary Road, in the bottom lawnmower. Yeah, for $11,599.
Was that the front disc mower or the
Yeah,
lawn tractor?
yeah, the John Deere tractor was $2,099, and then the other one was
How small a mower did you get for $2,000? Say what size that is? It's a pretty lightweight home unit for $2,000.
Who's drainage ditch number 8?
Yeah, he just got it.
Is it?
It's an E-140, it's not very big,
What would you be mowing on that?
I'm not sure. Honestly, use it for one of the county sheds,
We have that much grass.
Record copy here, and we can. Record it, read it. Would you listen for a motion to, on claim 2374, Deb?
yeah, I'll make that one.
Further discussion? All those in favor of claim 2374, signify with aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Abstain. Any other
Got it.
Your own voting motion?
Yes.
Mr. Helmer's offers support. Further discussion on adjournment? All those in favor, signify with aye. All those opposed, same sign.
You can make a copy of that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Let me know, copies